6 true facts that sound completely made up. A single flower that cost more than a house. The banana in your kitchen is radioactive. And one tiny animal survived the open vacuum of space. Number 1. A flower cost more than a house. 400 years ago, a single flower bulb cost more than an entire house. Not a bouquet, one tulip bulb, smaller than an onion. This was Holland in the 1630s, and the whole country had gone completely, wildly tulip crazy. Tulips were brand new and exotic then, with dazzling flame-like stripes, and everyone wanted the rarest, fanciest ones. So the prices climbed higher and higher, until the most prized bulbs sold for the price of a Grand Canal mansion. But here's where it gets wild. People traded their farms, their savings, even their tools, for a single bulb still buried in the soil. Then, one morning in 1637, the buyers simply stopped showing up. Nobody would pay those dizzy prices anymore. The whole market crashed to almost nothing overnight, and countless fortunes vanished, all over a pretty flower. Number 2. Bananas are radioactive. The banana sitting in your kitchen is slightly radioactive. Yes, the same one you slice onto your cereal in the morning. Bananas are loaded with potassium, and a tiny slice of all the potassium in nature is naturally radioactive. It comes from a rare form called potassium-40, and every single banana carries a tiny, gentle trace of it. Scientists even half joke about it. They sometimes measure radiation in bananas, where one banana equals one tiny dose. But before you toss your fruit bowl, here's the calming part: this radiation is completely, totally harmless to you. Your body keeps its potassium perfectly balanced, quietly topping up and flushing out the extra all day long. To reach a dangerous dose, you'd have to eat millions of bananas at once. So your breakfast is very, very safe. Number 3. A day on Venus is longer than its year. On the planet Venus, a single day lasts longer than an entire year. The day is literally longer than the year. Venus spins on its axis incredibly, painfully slowly. One full turn takes about 243 Earth days. But Venus races around the Sun much faster than that, finishing a whole orbit in only 225 days. So it finishes its lap around the Sun before it even completes a single slow spin. Year done, day still going. And it gets stranger. Venus spins backwards compared to Earth, so on Venus the Sun would rise in the west. Picture it, you'd wake to a sunrise in the wrong direction, and one Venus day would outlast your whole birthday year. It's the slowest spinning planet we know, a strange world where time itself feels completely turned upside down. Number 4. Vikings beat Columbus by 500 years. Vikings reached North America about 500 years before Columbus ever set sail. Half a thousand years earlier. Around the year 1000, Norse explorers crossed the wild, cold North Atlantic in their strong wooden longships. Led by an explorer named Leif Erikson, they landed on the coast of what is now eastern Canada. Archaeologists later found the proof, the remains of a real Viking settlement in Newfoundland, with old tools and fire pits. But here's the twist: they didn't stay for long, and the whole story slowly faded into old sagas almost everyone forgot. So for centuries, Columbus got all the credit, while the Vikings' early visit quietly slipped out of the history books. Turns out the so-called New World had visitors from across the sea a full 5 centuries before the famous voyage of 1492. Number 5. Ketchup was sold as medicine. In the 1830s, you couldn't buy ketchup at the grocery store, but you could buy it at the pharmacy, as medicine. A doctor named John Cook Bennett loudly claimed that tomatoes could cure all sorts of aches and illnesses. He said tomato ketchup could fix an upset stomach, indigestion, even jaundice, and people totally believed him. Soon tomato ketchup was dried out, squished into little round pills, and sold as a serious health cure. But here's the catch: it didn't actually cure much of anything, and copycats started faking their own tomato pills. Before long the whole tomato medicine craze was exposed as a hoax and quietly collapsed in embarrassment. So the ketchup on your fries was once a so-called miracle drug, sold by the spoonful with a totally straight face. Number 6. An animal that survives open space. There's one tiny animal so tough it survived the open, airless vacuum of space, and lived to tell the tale. It's called a tardigrade, a plump, microscopic water bear smaller than a single grain of sand. In 2007, scientists strapped a batch of them to the outside of a spacecraft and flew them up into orbit. Out there they faced no air, freezing cold, and harsh radiation, conditions that would instantly finish almost anything. But here's the wild part, when they came home and got a single sip of water, many of them simply woke back up. Some even went on to lay healthy eggs, as if a trip through the vacuum of space was no big deal at all. They survived by drying into a tiny tucked-up ball and pausing life itself, until the world turns friendly again. 6 facts that sound fake, and every single one is true. Which one did you absolutely refuse to believe? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. If you liked this, follow for new science and history videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.